Everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested. Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 38-year-old Marine veteran and Florida resident Jesus Rivera was seen and heard in his own January 6 video saying, quote, "Record numbers here in D.C. I am about to take my ass to the middle of the state capitol and see what's going on, where they are trying to jump in." So Rivera then crossed the barriers set up by law enforcement. He joined the mob in overwhelming the police, and he encouraged the crowd. He was yelling, quote, "Come on, come on." And Rivera continued to film his and others' illegal actions, and he was heard saying, quote, "My birthday is in 3 days, but I'll take it as this one. Today is my fucking birthday." Sometime after that, Rivera entered the Capitol through a broken window, and he continued to record as he moved throughout the building. He exited the Capitol approximately 20 minutes later, and he was seen and heard on video boasting, quote, "This is something we can tell our kids about." So Rivera was arrested on January 20th of last year, and he was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading in a Capitol. Unlike most other defendants, Rivera opted for a bench trial. So that's where the judge makes the decision. There is no jury. As you guys may recall, that bench trial took place this past June, and Rivera tried to convince the judge that he is an independent journalist and he was not part of the attempted insurrection. That didn't go well for him. He was found guilty on all counts by U.S. District Judge Colleen Kolar-Cotelli. And based on the most serious of his 4 misdemeanors, of which he was convicted, Rivera was looking at up to 1 year in prison, 1 year of probation, and $100,000 in fines. Unfortunately, the government sentencing memorandum wasn't available for viewing, so I only know that they asked for 9 months in jail, but I'm not sure what else they requested. At the sentencing hearing, Rivera again tried to convince the judge that he only went to the Capitol to record the historical moment. And he said, quote, "I do want to apologize to the Congress and to the American people. I had no ill intent that day. My only intent was to capture what was going on at the Capitol that day." Rivera also claimed, quote, "If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have been there that day." So the judge wasn't really buying it any more than she did at the trial, and she began reciting Rivera's own words following the Capitol attack. Judge Cotelli stated, quote, "Shortly after returning home from the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, the defendant sent a message saying, 'I can honestly say I had a great time.' Also, quote, 'This is what we need.'" Then the judge said, quote, "He was a rioter and an insurrectionist, not just an observer." Judge Cotelli also laid into Rivera for sharing a meme on social media. In this meme, it showed some of the officers who were injured at the Capitol, and they were crying, and it mocked them. It mocked their crying and, made it out like they were crying over nothing. She also railed against Rivera for failing to uphold his sworn oath that he took when he became a Marine. And she told him that actions like his degrade our Constitution. The judge then warned to everyone about the rise of autocracy and lawlessness in the U.S. And she told Rivera, quote, "Whatever remorse you express today cannot obliterate the damage to our democracy." So after admonishing him for quite some time, Judge Cotelli sentenced Rivera to 8 months in jail, 1 year of probation, and $500 in restitution. So this is what happens when you try to game the system, right? You try to feign remorse after running your mouth on social media, after demeaning officers whose lives were forever changed, altered by your fellow cult members. He could have probably pleaded to the parading charge, probably would have received probation, but he tried to play the judge. Here's the difference between true independent journalists and a member of the mob. Journalists don't make themselves part of the story. Now, that's not to say sometimes journalists don't get pulled into a story, right? We saw that on January 6th. We saw some legitimate journalists physically attacked by Trump's rabid followers. So they become part of the story. But a true journalist doesn't insert themselves. They don't do that of their own volition. By yelling out, encouraging the mob, and then bragging about it after the fact, making fun of the officers, his intent was clear. Rivera was in no way an objective observer on January 6th. So I think this was pretty fair. I wish more of these people would choose to go to trial rather than taking a plea. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.